we are in the direction of our ribbon's not breaking, or we're not actually failing because our mandrels are not coupling, so we don't necessarily have a cassette issue at this point. Ooh, that was really easy to come off. What's up everybody, Kyle here, TTO Parts. Hey, it's been a while. We've been busy with some stuff. But this video today is gonna be a repair. So we have a new customer who reached out. He saw some of these videos online. So John, thank you. Shout out to Fernando's Bakery. They sent in a printer, so we're gonna open this bad boy up and see what is going on. I don't know. I believe he said it was a 6330. And from the email, he was saying that there was some issue with ribbon break. And so I had told him, like I'll tell anybody, whoever reaches out to our support at ttoparts.com or to me, whatever, call me. I'm always going to tell you, all right, the best thing to do in this situation is determine what's happening. Is the ribbon actually breaking or is it not breaking, right? This is where those flow charts come in, right? So in that e-course, we made a bunch of flow charts to be able to help you diagnose these problems and just speed through it. So that's one of the questions there that kind of breaks it down in different steps. If it's not actually breaking and you're actually just seeing it during calibration, it's probably a cassette issue, and I believe that's what he said. And I said, you know, the easiest thing to do, get a new cassette or a spare cassette, see if you can get it up and running. And said, you know what, I don't have that. Can I just send it to you? I said, of course, you send it to us. Happy to take a look at it for you. That's what we do here. That's how we get all our videos, so you can see the videos. I know we have a lot of shorts where I'm working in the office and I'm just manually doing it as I go through. These are kind of longer videos just to show you what's going on. So I was right. We have a 6330. All right, let's do this. We're gonna take, I'm gonna end up testing on this thing, so I am gonna take this little bracket off of it. This is a cool little bracket, so they must be mounting it like this on the rails and having the platen pad here to print on, and this thing slides back and forth. I've never seen this one before, so I'm curious to see what their line looks like. I guess I'll have to get out there to see them. That's one of my favorite parts about this job, is being able to go to all the different companies and see all the different products that you guys make. You know, I've spent a lot of time with the Snyders in Arizona. I've spent a significant amount of time with the guys that make hot hands up in Georgia. Spent a bunch of time in a chicken plant up there as well. Let's see. Oh, the beef jerky guys. Spent a lot of time in that plant. And what's cool is seeing all the different industries. You know, everything is similar but different.
Same, but different.
Kind of. Oops, we lost our shim. Gotta take a sip from the Goku water bottle. All right, so that bracket's off. We'll move it to the side. But yeah, I'm able to see, you know, different machines. I love seeing the machines. It's kind of like being a house. It's like being on a House Made episode. Really cool. All right, so let's see what's going on here. So I took my cassette off. I'm just gonna visually inspect for damage. First thing I'm gonna look for is I'm gonna look at these motor couplings. Now, this is something I never saw on the older style printers. And you're always gonna hear me talk about older style, newer style. Older style means the stuff that has an airline plugged into the side of it, right? So there would be an airline right here for the solenoid valve. Now in those older ones, I never really had an issue with the motor couplings losing their height. I've got one around here. I'm back. I knew I had one in here because I developed a little tool to test these encoders, but, oh, this is the wrong one. Hold that thought. I have the carriage motors here. I don't have the ribbon motor. Those are in the office, but I'll kind of explain it with this carriage motor. So just imagine that this is the black motor coupling for the ribbon. I'll put a picture of it on the screen right here so you can see that. In the old style on the ribbon motors, again, this coupling is set in place with a couple set screws, and I never saw it lose its height. On these printers, on these 6530s, 6330s, I have seen a handful of them come loose and then lose its height and push the coupling down to the motor frame. So right down in here, okay? And what does that do? When you go to calibrate and get the ribbon and operate the ribbon, what's happening is your motor coupling is rubbing against the frame and it's causing all types of problems, and it can cause that ribbon break error. Excuse me. It can cause that ribbon break error. No, we don't want that. So, I'm doing a visual inspection on this. I'm not seeing anything too concerning in here. They look good. I mean, maybe a little bit low, but they are still pretty flush. Nothing crazy where they're above substantially. All right, so that's done. Next thing I want to check, again, visual, and I'm going to do this by feel. Yeah, this sounds stupid, but I can tell if something's loose here because I've handled these shafts, so many shafts in my life. You're so dirty. Just by rotating that shaft. And they're okay. A little loose, but not crazy. But that core did feel very loose coming off. So we're gonna do this. That's not bad. Okay. I can live with it. It's not slipping. It's just not as tight as I would like. I'm not seeing any deformation on these little clips. Alright, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're gonna assemble it onto the printer again. And now while I'm doing that, I'm just gonna go ahead and see if I can't feel any areas that are fighting me or you know, that are bound up. Typically this is gonna be in your guideposts, but I'm not seeing anything. It's smooth as can be. Sometimes when one of these are bent, you have a real hard time getting this cassette onto the printer. And what will end up happening is because it's bent, you can't get this into the place it needs to get into to lock. And sometimes it'll be so bad that this magnet over here can't actually hit the sensor. So you'll have cassette open for forever and you'll never get that taken away. Or more commonly, you just have this binding and you can't get it perfect. And what ends up happening is the ribbon, the mandrels will not couple to those motors. And you need to change whatever's binding you as you're going on. On the old style and this style, there's some set screws here. Those bend. These plates seem to take, these little die cast plates are taking warps far more than the old machine ones did. So that's why on our website we have the machined version of these plates, because I'm seeing their, I don't want to call it success rate. I don't know what the right term to use here is, but we all know that we're all idiots and you know, we all have butterfingers at certain times and these things get dropped. It happens. They'll always say second shift did it, or when I came in this morning it was like that, it was third shift that did it. I've heard that so many times and I'm sure you guys have. But it seems like the machine version and not the die-cast version on our site is maybe better to handle it and better with the impacts. Alright, so I got that done. I'm not seeing anything. Let's get it up on the stand, but before we do, remember I always like to at least take one of what I call the side plates off. That way I can peek inside and see what's happening while we're trying to calibrate. And then the other nice thing about these printers, this is the new feature. The other nice thing about these printers is the fact that we have the event log inside of here. So once I power this thing up, I can go in here, pull the event log, and I can see exactly what's happening with this machine. The old style, I was guessing, and you know, a lot of times I'll get printers, and I still do. I get printers and they don't have a tag on it to tell me what's wrong with it. So I'm guessing. Now I'm not with these. So it's pretty cool. I've had some requests on, hi, how do I get one of these test stands? They're pretty freaking sweet. They've always been available to us. We just get them from the OEM. So if anybody, oh, I gotta take this off. If anybody is interested, please reach out and we can get a quote for you. Get you a quote for one of these test stands so you can do all this yourself. And if you don't want to do that, you can obviously do this on the line or take the printer down and fix it at your shop and then go back to the line to test it. Which these things are really nice. I actually bring them with me to site visits when I can. If I'm local, I'll bring this thing with me. I'll put it in the truck and just drive. If I'm flying, unfortunately, it's one of the things that gets left behind, but it's, you know, sometimes you wish you have it. Because I can sit there, especially when it comes to the carriage position air. With that air, there's a test that I love to do, and I know if you've been watching this channel, you'll know what this test is. It's called the what is it called? The cycle head test. And what that does is it cycles this print head back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, but it doesn't feed the ribbon. So you're not going to lose a whole roll of ribbon, and you're not actually printing. So you're not going to lose your print head, right? You're not going to use up its life. But it gives you that movement, and it's really, really good at picking up the print head carriage motor airs. So sometimes I can't pick them up right away, especially when I test on the stand. For some reason, the stand is like, I must have been what it was designed for, right? And then when you get it into the field onto these brackets, any little kind of weird thing will throw off this carriage motor air or cause it to throw because of the feedback loop. On this thing is like, it perfectly fit for it, like a Cinderella and her glass slipper or something. I don't know why I threw that out there, but I have kids. I have 2 daughters and 2 sons, so that might be why I threw Cinderella out there. Or maybe I secretly love Cinderella. I wear her dress at night. Anyways, yeah, this thing seems to fit really well. And when I go do my test sprints, I can't get the carriage position air to trigger on its own. And I run that cycle test where I just cycle the head back and forth. And I've got it down to, if it fails within the first 10 minutes or so, and not from any other reason, not that I can tell, like, you know, belt clamp or linear slide might be causing the problem, for no other obvious reason, at that point I say, okay, let's take a look at these motors. It's got to be a motor or one of the encoders on the motors. And so I'll replace one, and then after that's replaced, I'll run the test again. And if it runs for, you know, I don't even need to run it for as long as I do, but I do, right? 20 minutes is more than enough time, but sometimes I run for an hour just to make sure everything's smooth, and it won't fail for that hour. I know I'm good. Let me grab this too. I want you to see this. This is Videojet. This is Videojet ribbon. Cool. I know he's overpaying for this ribbon, so we're gonna try to use ours. This might be a premium. I can't tell for certain, but I'm definitely gonna ask the part number and give him a quote. So hopefully we can save him at least half of what he's paying. Because no reason to get killed by ribbon. Let's go ahead, bring him back down, turn you on. Are we not plugged in? Oh, we're not plugged in. That'll help. Oh my God, the board's fried. Or I'm just a retard that doesn't know how to plug anything in. I knew it. I'm a retard. All right, let's get this all lined up. All right, so before I throw this on here, I am gonna just take a peek at the event log that we were talking about so we can see what's going on. All right, so we do that by going to settings, diagnostics, print head, event log. All right, so this is, oh no. It doesn't want to pull the log. Okay, hold on. There we go. All right. This is me powering it on for the first time. This is them powering it off on the 25th. They had ribbon brake, ribbon brake, ribbon brake, ribbon brake, cassette open, print head carriage position air. This was all within the same day and a half. Ribbon brake, ribbon brake, ribbon brake, ribbon brake, ribbon brake. And let's see, is there anything else? Ribbon brake. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now there's another screen we can go to. So if we go back to our home page, and then in here, this says performance. It's this little rectangle right here. Go ahead and smack that. Now we've got a bunch of things. We're looking for availability. We hit availability. This is gonna give us like, I don't know, a time frame, printer availability, and operational runtime. What I'm using this for is, all right, give me the last 30 days, 82%. So 18% of the time it's been having trouble. It's been faulting out and it's been not running. So, and it'll tell you the frequency of the errors here. So what I'm looking at is ribbon brake 5 times, ribbon pull through 7 times, ribbon feed 1 time, print signal in order, and print head carriage position once. All right, carriage position 1 time is not alarming to me, especially when they have these other errors like the ribbon pull through. Ribbon pull through is basically, we burn an image onto the ribbon and it gets pulled with the print head, okay? And then when the print head comes back to get another one, now we have all this slack in here and it just starts getting this slack, and then we end up getting the ribbon brake error because the tension's all screwed up. Now a lot of times that happens, not always, but it can be either the print head itself is just failing and you need a new print head. I've also seen it where the darkness is an issue. So, you know, when I'm doing my testing here, I always like to test everything at 100% darkness, and that's because I can get 100% of my energy to the ribbon to transfer. And we'll do that. And when I do installs, I will do that, and then I will sit with the customer and say, okay, you're at 100% darkness here. That's what your print looks like. That's the best it's gonna look. Now, what can you live with? Let's go down at 85. Okay, this is what the print looks like. Does that look good, yes or no? And if it looks good, great, we'll keep it at 85. If they can live with it. If they can't, then we'll have to jump it back up. But one of the consequences is going down in darkness. It means we have less energy there. And this is all, by the way, this is all inside of that e-course we talked about. So if you want a better breakdown of all this stuff, please take a look at that e-course. Anyways, back to the matter. When we pull that energy level down, we end up not burning through the ribbon as much as we want to. So instead of getting a clean melt, break, print, right? So the ink actually breaks off of here and transfers to the thing. Instead of doing that, we only kind of warm it and it's like glue. And now he just sticks to the film. And so now he's stuck to the film because he just glued himself in place instead of burning himself off. And then when the film moves, it pulls the ribbon with it, giving us ribbon pull through. So I can figure that out real fast doing 1 or 2 things. I can go in here to the ribbon pull through air, so I can hit this again, and I hit one of them, and it should give me where they were at. So I've got speeds, print head temperatures, ribbon size, print force, and print darkness. So print darkness 100%, so they are not operating at too low. 3 kilogram print force, which is actually pretty high for this guy, close to max, which when I see that, I see 100% and close to max print force, especially with the fact that I've got a shim here, I have to start thinking about, and this is something I've really noticed with these new ones, I gotta start thinking about a failing print head. Now, how do I confirm I have a failing print head? That's pretty easy. And that was gonna be my next step anyways. Go back home, I'm gonna go to settings, diagnostics, print head health. And man, it's brand new. Well, relatively new. 8.4 kilometers, that's all they printed with this thing. Now let's go back, let's just see what their message looks like. Okay, so their message is pretty small. I'm looking at it right now. It's a 2-line date code. We'll throw some test prints through here and see exactly the size of it, but it is pretty small. So 8 kilometers of that small print, more than you think it is, you know? So what can we do? We can look at the printhead health graph. So that's one other section we can take a look at. So if we go back to our settings, diagnostics, printhead health, display our graph. And now what we're looking for here is on this bottom thing, we're looking at the percent of resistance change. And if we see anything big, it means, okay, we've got a lot of resistance change here. And generally you'll see a spike that will correlate with a dead dot. Now I'm not seeing a spike per se. What I am seeing is a bunch of resistance change, but it all looks pretty negligible, about 2 to 3, maybe max 5% of percent change, which I don't think is enough to cause what's happening to this thing, but I could be wrong. So what we're gonna do now, we'll put this cassette on there, and we gotta see what's happening. It could be, and this we talked about, could have a motor issue. Or maybe we just need to tune these motors. No, we have ribbon brake. So this is perfect. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this camera and I'm gonna come around, okay? We are gonna look. Okay, let's see. We're gonna look inside of here and see if I can turn my light on. Okay, he's coupled. Now is the back one coupled? It looks like it. Sorry, I gotta stick my head in here now, just to confirm. Yeah, both our mandrels are in place. Okay, this is good. This is really good. So we've got, put this back. So we have both our mandrels coupled with the motors. So we're not, and that kind of goes with what we talked about, right? We talked about, did we bind, did we not? They kind of felt good, everything kind of felt good. What we're tending to look like we might have is either a motor tuning issue. So we need to go back and calculate these gains. We can tell it to do that. We'll walk you through it, which we're gonna do first. And generally, if that fails, then we'll be looking at a board issue, a main board. Usually, we'll fail on the motor calibration, will fail if the board's bad. So we'll know with this one test, typically. Now, I can't guarantee it, but we'll see. So what we need is our laptop. And we gotta pray that I brought all my stuff with me. Can't tell I'm working late. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna use Clarity Config to tell this thing to do a motor calibration. So we go to Diagnostics, I'm gonna go to Control, Comms, and TCP IP. That way I can see what our IP address is. Let me grab my laptop. Now, so you know the drill in here. We will plug our Ethernet adapter in. What I need to do is I need to get one digit away. So I'm gonna go to my control panel. Network and internet, network and sharing center, and change adapter settings, okay? So this is my Ethernet port. I'm gonna go to the right click on Ethernet, go to properties, TCP IPv4, hit properties again. So right now I've got it set up for obtain your address automatically. I want it to change and select the button that says use the following IP address. When I do that, I am gonna type in 169.254.2.2, not 2.1. This is 1, this will be 2, so they'll be one digit away from each other, okay? And we got our subnet, 255.255.255. Now all you IT guys, you're a lot fucking smarter than me, and you know this stuff way better than I do, because I'm just kind of getting through here, all right? So now we've got that set up. So if I said anything wrong, go ahead and blast me all you want. I'm an idiot. Yada, yada, yada. I'll plug him in. Okay, so he's in. Let's pull this cassette off. We need to take our ribbon Ooh, that was really easy to come off. Let's see if this thing's fucking slipping. Oh yeah. Okay, well, I don't even know if we need to do this at this point. Watch this, okay? I knew there was something loose about this stupid thing. I can twist. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. I'm gonna hold the ribbon with this hand, and I'm gonna use my fingers here. I can twist that. So the ribbon's slipping on this mandrel. So all I gotta do is grab another mandrel real fast. I'm not even gonna do anything else. I'm gonna pull this stupid Ethernet cable out. I should have seen this before. I knew it was loose. I told you. Too busy talking. All right, so let us. And actually, I can prove it. I can prove it by using my cassette, right? If I just do this. So if I am an idiot, we'll still have an issue. If I'm not an idiot, which don't ask my wife, this should work. And the reason I say that is because the ribbon seems to be slipping on one of these mandrels, which should be causing our air. All right, I gotta clear my air. So let's see. I heard both of them click in, which is a good sign. And yeah, so it is our take-up mandrel. Oh, I'm sorry, the supply side mandrel. That was this one that we're having some trouble with. So we'll just replace this. We'll probably be fine. But now we have them on here. Might as well give them some test prints. Let's fire some test prints. Yeah, it looks really good to me. I think these guys are going to be happy. That air will 100%, you can chalk it up to this bad boy slipping on the mandrel. What I'm going to do is I'll quote that for them and I'll get it changed off video here because I'm confident that's was the issue. Just final thoughts before I wrap this thing up. I mean, he's got 40 million prints. That's actually pretty good. I mean, what I'll tell you is in the past, at about 25 million imprints, that's when I started to see board issues. Now, he doesn't have one per se that I know of. Obviously, I'll talk and see more, see what else he's got. He's got about a handful of jobs in here, so nothing crazy. And it's really, what is this? I don't know, 3/8, half-inch job. So it's not huge, not pushing the whole, you know, thing. If I was him, I would try to bring the print force down. I'm going to mention that. But other than that, I'm pretty happy here. And I think, based on the print head life, he doesn't need a new print head. I'll take a look at everything else, but right now it's looking like all we need is a mandrel, and he'll be back up and running. Okay. Listen, if you guys learned anything today, please thumbs up. Subscribe doesn't help, but I feel like a simp asking for subs. We're close to 500 at this point. I think we're like 474, 475. So if we get to 500, that'd be awesome. We do offer. Let me show you something. When we ship parts, I don't know. I used to buy stuff from like. It's gonna sound stupid, I know. I'm not a bodybuilder, but I used to buy stuff from bodybuilding.com, and when I would buy protein from there, they would give you like a free shaker, they would give a magazine, they would give a few other free, you know, samples of creatine or whatever it was. And I always thought that was a cool thing. So now that I do this, with most of our orders, if it's a next day air, sometimes these get excluded, but ground orders and good customers, they get free stuff from us. So these are some cups that we had. I think I got some coffee mugs. Yeah, we got some coffee mugs here that we ship with our orders. And we got some other things here and there. The reason I say that is if we get to 500, I can start putting them on the website. Maybe you guys can, if you like it, you can get it. And trust me, they won't be much because I ship them for free anyways. But anyways, this has been fun. This has been long and it's weird. It's the first time we're doing one of these. So if you liked it, let me know. If you didn't like it, I'm sure you'll let me know. And if you're a dickhead about it, fuck you. Ciao.